Introduction to Lee Lana's channel. Welcome to Lee Lana's channel, where we delve into the art of storytelling, character development, and the immersive worlds that captivate our imaginations. Our goal is to entertain, enlighten, and provoke thought through comprehensive analyses of iconic characters and narratives. Today, we embark on a detailed exploration of Arthur Morgan, the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption 2. Arthur's journey is a profound study of loyalty, loss, and the quest for redemption. Join us as we dissect his multifaceted character across 7 in-depth chapters. Chapter 1. The Roots of Arthur Morgan. Early life and influences. Arthur Morgan's early life was steeped in hardship, laying the groundwork for the man he would become. Born to Beatrice and Lyle Morgan, Arthur faced profound loss from an early age. The death of his mother, shrouded in mystery within the game, left young Arthur vulnerable and in the care of his father, Lyle Morgan, entangled in crime and instability. Lyle Morgan's influence on Arthur was significant yet deeply flawed. Lyle's criminal lifestyle culminating in his arrest for larceny in 1874, when Arthur was just 11, created a chaotic environment for the boy. Witnessing his father's downfall and eventual death instilled in Arthur a deep sense of loyalty and loss that would shape his character. Despite Lyle's shortcomings, Arthur's attachment to his memory is evident in the tokens he keeps, such as his father's had a symbol of the complex legacy Arthur inherits, which is the same hat that Arthur wears during the game, and a picture of him to always remember despite the complexity and difficulty of the relationship between them. These early experiences of loss and instability forged Arthur into a man of resilience and toughness, yet with a profound yearning for belonging and purpose. The harsh realities of his formative years left him hardened, but they also imbued him with a deep quest for meaning and redemption. This chapter establishes the foundation for understanding Arthur's character, a man grappling with the duality of strength and vulnerability shaped by a turbulent past. Chapter 2. Loss of Isaac and Eliza. The unresolved grief. Isaac was the beloved son of Arthur and Eliza, conceived after a brief, intense encounter between the two. Upon discovering that Eliza was pregnant, Arthur offered his support, acknowledging the responsibility that came with the situation. Though he wasn't a constant presence in their lives, Arthur made sure to visit Eliza and Isaac every few months, staying for days at a time. These moments were bittersweet, as Arthur watched Isaac grow from a child into a young boy. Arthur often described Isaac as a good kid, with a sense of pride and fondness that revealed the deep, if understated, bond he felt for his son. But one fateful day, Arthur's world shattered. During a routine visit, he was met with a harrowing sight: to graves dug into the ground outside the home. A cold dread seized him as he realized what had happened. Eliza and Isaac were gone, brutally taken from him in a senseless act of violence. They had been robbed and murdered for a mere $10, a sum so insignificant. It only deepened the horror of their deaths. The loss of Eliza and Isaac struck Arthur like a lightning bolt, leaving him paralyzed with grief and anger. The weight of their deaths bore down on him, an unbearable burden that he would carry for the rest of his life. Arthur never fully recovered from the loss of Isaac and Eliza. Their deaths became a permanent scar on his soul, a wound that refused to heal. The tragedy added another layer of complexity to Arthur's already troubled character, fueling his internal conflict and intensifying his feelings of guilt and sorrow. He was haunted by their memory, plagued by thoughts of what could have been if only he had been there to protect them. The unresolved grief over their loss seeped into every aspect of Arthur's life, coloring his actions and decisions. It drove him on a relentless quest for redemption as he sought to atone for his past mistakes and find some measure of peace. The deaths of Eliza and Isaac were not just a personal tragedy for Arthur. They became a defining moment in his life, shaping the man he would become. Their loss was a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the consequences of his choices. It fueled his desperation to find meaning in a world that had been so cruelly stripped of two people he loved. And though Arthur would continue to live, to fight, and to search for redemption, the ghost of Eliza and Isaac would forever remain with him, a somber echo of the unresolved grief that shaped his journey. Chapter 3: Becoming an Outlaw. Dutch's influence and Arthur's evolution. Following his father's death, Arthur Morgan was taken under the wing of Dutch van der Linde and Hosea Matthews. Dutch, with his charismatic leadership and idealistic vision of freedom, became a surrogate father figure for Arthur, offering him the family and purpose he desperately needed. Hosea, with his pragmatic wisdom, balanced Dutch's idealism, creating a complex dynamic that deeply influenced Arthur's worldview. Dutch's philosophy of rebellion against a corrupt society resonated with Arthur, who was eager to find a cause greater than himself. Dutch's vision of a life unbound by the law, where loyalty and brotherhood were paramount, appealed to Arthur's sense of purpose. However, as Arthur matured and the gang's fortunes declined, he began to see the flaws in Dutch's leadership. Arthur's growing disillusionment with Dutch marked a critical turning point in his evolution. The Dutch van der Linde, who once embodied freedom and loyalty, began to reveal a darker side driven by greed, paranoia, and an unattainable dream. Arthur's internal conflict, torn between his loyalty to Dutch and his emerging moral compass, became central to his character development. This chapter highlights Arthur's transformation from a devoted follower to a man who must grapple with difficult choices, ultimately shaping his legacy. Arthur's relationship with Dutch is a blend of admiration, loyalty, and growing skepticism. As Dutch's leadership falters, Arthur's struggle intensifies, forcing him to question his past and the ideals he once held dear. This chapter is crucial in understanding Arthur's journey from a man seeking purpose to an individual confronted with the consequences of his actions and beliefs. Chapter 4: Brotherhood and Betrayal. Arthur's relationships with the gang. Arthur Morgan's interactions with the Dutch van der Linde gang members are pivotal to his story, particularly his relationship with John Marston. John, who would later become the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption, shares a complex bond with Arthur. Their relationship, forged through shared experiences and loyalty, is marked by both brotherhood and tension. Arthur's sense of responsibility towards John is a recurring theme in the game. He often assumes the role of mentor and protector, guiding John through the dangers and moral complexities of their outlaw lives. However, as Arthur's disillusionment with Dutch grows, so does his concern for John's future. This internal conflict adds depth to Arthur's character as he questions whether encouraging John to stay with the gang is in his best interest. Beyond John, Arthur's interactions with other gang members like Sadie Adler, Charles Smith, and Abigail Roberts reveal different aspects of his personality. Sadie, shaped by tragedy, becomes a close ally to Arthur, and their bond is marked by mutual respect and shared grief. Charles, a mixed-race man navigating a prejudiced society, shares a deep sense of honor with Arthur, forming a friendship based on a mutual understanding of life on the fringes of society. Arthur's relationship with Abigail, John's partner, is particularly telling. His protectiveness towards Abigail and her son, Jack, reveals a softer side of him, contrasting with his hardened outlaw persona. Arthur's actions towards Abigail and Jack are driven by a desire to shield them from the surrounding violence, even as he struggles with his own role in that world. These relationships are essential in understanding Arthur's character, showcasing his capacity for empathy and kindness, while also illustrating how his past choices burden him. The bonds he forms with gang members are both his strength and weakness, tying him to a life of violence as he seeks a way out. This chapter emphasizes the complexities of Arthur's character through the intricate web of relationships that define his world. Chapter 5. The weight of mortality. Arthur's struggle with illness and conscience. Arthur Morgan's path to self-awareness and redemption is sharply focused through his diagnosis of tuberculosis, contracted during a seemingly routine mission. This illness becomes a pivotal moment, forcing Arthur to confront his mortality and his past life choices. The diagnosis signifies a turning point for Arthur, marking the start of his transition from a hardened outlaw to a man seeking redemption. As his illness progresses, Arthur reflects on his past actions and the consequences of his criminal life. He questions whether he can find redemption in his remaining days. Arthur's interactions with Sister Cauldron, a nun running an orphanage in St. Denis, reveal his growing self-awareness. His conversations with her uncover his fears and regrets, exposing a vulnerability previously hidden. Sister Cauldron's compassion provides Arthur with a glimpse of a life beyond violence and moral compromise. Arthur's illness forces him to face the reality of his impending death. This realization, both a curse and a blessing, gives Arthur the clarity to prioritize what truly matters. He becomes more determined to make amends, help those he cares about, and leave a positive legacy. This drive for redemption underscores the transformative power of introspection and the human capacity for change. Even in dire circumstances, Arthur's struggle with illness highlights the themes of mortality and redemption in Red Dead Redemption 2. It catalyzes his transformation, compelling him to confront his past and seek a better future despite his limited time. This chapter illustrates the depth of Arthur's character as he strives for redemption in the face of his own mortality. Chapter 6. Redemption through action. Arthur's final choices. As Arthur Morgan's story nears its end, the theme of redemption becomes increasingly central. With his illness worsening and his time running out, Arthur faces critical choices that will shape his legacy. These choices are not merely about survival, but about making amends for his past and ensuring a better future for those he cares about. One of Arthur's most significant decisions is to help John Marston and his family escape the gang's life of crime, driven by a desire to provide John, Abigail, and their son Jack with a chance at a new life. Arthur's commitment to their well-being becomes a powerful testament to his quest for redemption. This decision made at great personal cost, reflects Arthur's deep sense of responsibility and his desire to correct past wrongs. Arthur's final actions are also influenced by his relationship with Dutch van der Linde. Despite Dutch's increasingly erratic behavior and their widening rift, Arthur remains loyal to him until the end. However, this loyalty is tempered by Arthur's growing awareness of Dutch's flaws and the realization that the gang's way of life is unsustainable. Confronting Dutch and protecting John represents a crucial moment in Arthur's redemption arc. In his final moments, Arthur's actions are driven by a desire to leave behind a positive legacy and ensure that those he cares about have a chance at a better life. His final choices are a poignant reflection of his journey from a hardened outlaw to a man seeking redemption, highlighting the power of self-sacrifice and the pursuit of a meaningful legacy. Chapter 7. Legacy and Impact. Arthur's lasting influence. Arthur Morgan's legacy extends beyond his immediate actions and final choices, shaping the lives of those he left behind and influencing the broader narrative of Red Dead Redemption 2. His story is one of profound transformation, characterized by his search for redemption and his impact on the people around him. Arthur's influence on John Marston is particularly significant. His efforts to help John and his family escape the life of crime provide John with a chance at redemption and a new beginning. Arthur's mentorship and eventual sacrifice play a crucial role in John's journey, linking their stories in a way that impacts the entire narrative of the game. Beyond his relationship with John, Arthur's actions and decisions resonate with other characters in the game. His efforts to help gang members like Sadie Adler and Charles Smith, and his protective stance towards Abigail and Jack demonstrate his commitment to a more compassionate and meaningful life. These interactions leave a lasting impression on those around him, shaping their futures in the wake of his death. Arthur's legacy is also reflected in the broader themes of Red Dead Redemption 2. His journey from a hardened outlaw to a man seeking redemption underscores the game's exploration of moral complexity, personal transformation, and the quest for a meaningful existence. Arthur's story remains a powerful testament to the capacity for change and the enduring impact of a life lived with purpose. Conclusion. Arthur Morgan's journey in Red Dead Redemption 2 is a compelling exploration of loyalty, loss, and redemption. From his troubled beginnings to his final self-sacrificial actions, Arthur's character embodies the struggle for personal transformation and the quest for a meaningful existence. His story is a testament to the power of introspection and the enduring impact of a life lived with purpose. Thank you for joining us on this in-depth analysis of Arthur Morgan's character. We hope you've gained a deeper understanding of his journey and the profound themes woven into his story. For more thoughtful explorations of storytelling and character development, stay tuned to Lee Lana's channel.